I'm Richard, your product specialist for Filaments.ca, and this is Filaments.ca 5-Minute Friday. Hey, welcome back to 5-Minute Friday, put on by Filaments.ca. My name is Richard, and I am your product specialist. Today, we are digging into part 2 of our bed adhesion videos. And now what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about all of the different ones that we spoke about in the last episode, which includes the hairspray, the 3D gloop, the magic goo, the glue, and the tape. And I'm going to show you exactly what we've got going on here. So as you can see in front of me, I have all of the different pieces right here. We've got the capped on tape, we've got our blue painter's tape, we have our magic goo, we have our 3D gloop, our regular Elmer's washable purple glue stick, and we have some hairspray. Now, we used all of these on this bed. Now, what I did was I turned over the bed. As you can see here, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. I turned over an actual bed, which is just the Creality bed, as you can see there. I just turned it over so I had clean glass to work with. And I'll start down here. Down here in this corner, we have our glue stick. This was our glue stick that we applied. Then we have some of the capped on tape, then our blue painter's tape. Up at the top, we have magic goo, one application of 3D gloop, and then we have an application of hairspray. And all I did was I just went ahead and printed off these different cubes. What the purpose of this test is to show you is how well these things stick. So we're going to start with the one that I use most often, and that is the glue stick. And we can see that that is on there pretty darn good. The one for the capped on tape just kind of came right off there. It was pretty easy. But we can see here that we've got a nice shiny bottom, and we can see that line where the two pieces of tape meet. So that one held on really well. And now we've got the tape, and we can see that the tape came up just a little bit here, which means you are going to have to reapply your tape every time that you do this. Now, same thing, still had good bed adhesion, does have a little bit of a line from where the tape didn't meet quite close enough, but it held on very nicely. Up here we have the magic goo. I'm just going to try and take that off. There we go. Magic goo did a really nice job, held on to a nice clean flat surface. It held it, and you can see that on this sort of plane, we're not exactly flat. We're actually up on an angle. Now, the easiest one to remove next to the one that was on the capped on tape was, of course, the 3D gloop. But what we get with the 3D gloop is we get a residue on the bottom of it that is the 3D gloop that is now stuck to the bottom of our print, and we may not want that. But 3D gloop will work. Now, 3D gloop is also an adhesive, so we can go ahead and use this to glue two pieces together. And then finally, our hairspray. And the hairspray came off pretty easy as well. And we can see that maybe I have a little bit of work to do on that corner of the bed where I have to raise it up just a little bit because those lines are a little bit further apart. Now, as far as our skirt goes, it comes off pretty easy. So that wasn't too terribly bad. And then we've got our purge line, which should come off very easy as well. Now, in order to remove this, let's just go ahead and try and remove this piece right here, which is our one with the glue stick. And we'll just try and get this off with our hands first. Oh, there we go. We got it off. Now, it was stuck down there pretty good, but it's got a nice, clean, flat surface. Now, in order to clean all of this off, in terms of the tape, all you're going to do is basically lift it. And you might remember from our last episode, if you haven't seen that, there is going to be a link up in the corner for it. You can see how it just kind of comes off, not in one piece, but it does tear. So something you might want to consider later on down the line. I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of that. And then as far as the blue tape goes, same thing. Just pull it off. All right, so we've got everything cleaned up. We're going to have a real quick look at these one more time. This is our glue stick bottom. You can see that it's got a little bit of a dull appearance to it, which is very nice, but it held on really, really well. This is our capped on tape. You can see it's a little more shiny, but we can also see, if we look very closely, where it kind of lifted a little bit in the corners, as well as we've got some bubbles in the tape, and then of course where our tape seam line was. Then we have our blue tape, which again, we can see where that line is, and we can see that it also has a very dull finish to it. Then we go up into our top corner, which in this case was the Magic Goo, which we really, really like. I like the Magic Goo. It works well. It allows your print to stay stuck to the bed. It doesn't take a lot to remove it. It cleans up with water or a little bit of alcohol, and it is easy to get off. Then we have our 3D gloop, and we can see we still have a film. There's a little bit of a film there, and it's quite shiny. If I took a rag that's got a little bit of alcohol on it, and I kind of clean that up a little bit, we can kind of get that down and dull it up just a little bit, as we can see there. And then it doesn't look too bad. And then of course we've got our last one, which was just the hairspray. Now, all of these are going to work to hold down your 3D print to your print bed. What is going to be the determining factor for you, I think, is the cost. So 3D gloop being the most expensive, but has a dual use. This can be used to hold your prints to the bed. Comes in a variety of different formulations for different materials, including PLA, PETG, and ABS. As well as this stuff also has a very high odor to it, and it does clean up with water off your bed, but it will also adhere your 3D printed parts together. It's a great glue for that as well. Magic Goo is just a solution that goes onto your bed and helps your 3D printed parts stay in place. This will last you a long time. You don't need much on your bed. So this is, over time, this is actually pretty economical. Glue stick can be found anywhere. You can go to any office supply store. Right now during back to school, you can find that at just about any department store, usually in a 3-pack for just a few dollars. So this is very economical as well. This you can also let build up on your bed a little bit. I don't clean off after every application. I do clean off about every 3 or 4 prints though, and then reapply. As far as tape goes, you can go through this stuff pretty quickly. And at the cost of tape, depending on where you're buying it, if you're buying the really cheap stuff, it may leave a residue on your glass, which you're going to have to clean up, so there's an extra step. But you're always going to be reapplying blue tape. Then there's capped on tape. Very expensive, heat resistant, has a nice finish to it, but you really are going to be dealing with air bubbles and that kind of thing. And then of course hairspray, which is my least favorite, and it's one that I never ever use. I have some here just for demonstration purposes, but I never use it. I don't like hairspray because it is an aerosol and it gets literally everywhere. So that is all there is to it. Which one would I choose? Well, my 2 favorites, of course, are glue stick and Magic Goo. Magic Goo can be found at Filaments.ca along with 3D gloop if you're looking for something that's got a dual purpose for gluing your parts together as well as holding them to your print bed. 3D gloop might be a way to go. or you can just go with the Magic Glue. Both are available from Filaments.ca. Check them out today on the Filaments.ca website. I want to just let you know that we still do have our summer sale going on, and by using the code SUN20 or SUM20, SUN20 I believe it is, you can get 20% off at checkout of Econofill PLA, Pro PLA, and Standard PETG. So check those out today, and I will see you here next time on 5 Minute Friday in a couple of weeks when we talk a little bit more about getting good bed adhesion and how to level that bed and what it really means to get all that set up correctly for you. Okay, and so until I see you next time, have yourselves a great weekend and keep printing.